Well, I've found the drop toilet. And I've also found the structure that used to be over the drop toilet. Just checking out a free camp. This is about 17 minutes outside of Kingston, and yes, we have a bit of rain today. I've been pretty lucky with rain. It's only about the second time it's rained since I've started my journey 3 months ago. This is Mount Scott Conservation Park. As I said, it's a free camp. It's a bit bushy. Lots of wildlife. There are not any facilities here. You need to be self-sufficient. There's lots of little spots alongside the track that you can pull over and camp. The road in's pretty good. You get caravans in here quite okay. It's sort of next to a very wide open area. I don't think the mobile reception is very good out here. I'll just check that in a minute. There's a long dirt road along the park or the conservation area, and as I said, there's plenty of spots you can pull off and set up. There's no river or lake or anything here, so no swimming. Be okay as an overnight stop, I guess. Okay, so here the track starts to deteriorate. I don't think we need to go right down there. It looks like it goes a long way. As I said, there's all little areas like this one I'll pull into here that you can pull into and set up. Interesting area, but doesn't offer a lot in the way of activities or anything like that. So I won't hop out and look around because I think we've seen just about all we need to see at Mount Scott Conservation Area. At the moment, I'm 17 minutes outside of Meningie, South Australia. This is on the south coast, on Lake Albert. And there are several campsites that are free camps along the lake. Some of them actually say you have to book prior. There's one or two that doesn't say that, and that's looking on wiki camps. I think on Google I had a look, it didn't say anything about booking any of them. But they look like they're all on the lake. There is mobile reception out here. And this is the entrance to the campsite area. This is sort of in the Coorong National Park area. There's a sign behind me saying Coorong National Park. I don't know if this section here is part of the park. The road in is sandy, but in good condition. There's one over to my left. Not sure if that's a campground or not. It's like an old residence of some description. We'll keep going. The first one in here has got an odd name. It's called Ads, as in ADZ, Ads Plus Gesticles. That's with a J, by the way. Ads Plus Gesticles, this first campsite is. So let's give that a check out. The lake's to my right. Excuse the jerkiness, it's a little bumpy here. But a two-wheel drive would be all right here, so far anyhow. I'm guessing this is Ad Plus Gesticles campground. It's reasonably small. There's a shed here and a water tank. Nothing in the shed. We'll hop out and have a look. This is the structure, which I would call a shed. There's a fireplace in here. It could get very windy here, very gusty being on the lake. There's a water tank here, which was built in November '94, and there is rainwater. Just check out where the drop toilet is. Interesting thing is there are several of these campsites along the lake here to choose from. Well, I've found the drop toilet. And I've also found the structure that used to be over the drop toilet. So when I was talking about gusty winds before, I think you can see what I mean. So the drop toilet's in several pieces. This site has not been maintained in a long time. There's nobody here, of course. You wouldn't get that many people in here anyhow. I'd suggest you be self-contained to come to a campground like this one. We'll move along the lake and check out the others. The next campsite along here is called Long Point, and it's very close to the one I just left actually. It's probably a couple of 100 metres from the last one. This one's a similar setup, has a structure, a shed, a tin shed. The drop toilet's not looking real good here either, by the way. Let's get out and have a look at this one. This is almost identical to the first one at Long Point. Again, a tin shed, which gives you a little bit of protection from the gusty winds, I guess. A water tank as well. Let's check out the water in this one. This also has water in it. Drop toilet. There's evidence of campers being here, but again there's nobody here. And also the wind can get gusty here as well. Well, it's on the same lake, so I guess all these sites are going to be similar. And you guessed it, drop toilet. Well, they've got one at least, but the structure over the toilet again has simply just blown away, just disintegrated. So it's not a toilet you'd be wanting to use. You could probably go deeper into the bush there, and get a bit more protection from the breeze. We'll look at the lake. You might be able to see the lake up there in the distance. All the sites are probably 200 metres from the lake edge. The next one is called Mark Point Campground, and it's probably about 100 metres from the last one, Long Point. Now they're all very close together. This one actually has the toilet block intact. There's also a shed and a water tank here. We'll just pull up and have a look at those. All these campsites, if you haven't guessed it already, are very, very similar. Let's begin. We have a tin shed which has been erected here. There's also a water tank here. I don't know if there's an outlet or not. I'll say this one has no tap down the bottom. The outlet's up there, so that's not functional. This campground, if you can call it that, was recently used, as evidenced by the fireplace. This is the only one so far where the dunny is intact in one piece. Again, fairly small. You'd only get a half a dozen vehicles in here. I'm guessing these toilets are not maintained at all and are quite, well, unmaintained. Probably rather use my own. So yeah, you get a few cars in. This one's a bit bigger than the other two. I think there's another one further up. I'm guessing they're all going to be identical anyhow. We'll go up and have a closer look at the lake, which is up in that general direction. The closer you get to Lake Albert, the gustier the winds become. That's the lake area. It's rocky and sandy, so look, you could probably get access to the lake with a canoe, a kayak, or if you wanted to swim at a pinch. It's very exposed here though. This is obviously Lake Albert, is inland lake, which would be fed by the Southern Ocean. There's a little beach area down here. I don't even know how well you can hear me with this wind. It's extremely high gusty winds. Just heading back out. I probably will stay at one of these campgrounds tonight, maybe an overnight. Just now I'm going to head back into Meningie and get some supplies. Even though these campsites all have different names, it really, to me, it's just one big campground. So you can come in here and take your pick out of the three I found. I went further up. It goes up about another 4 kilometres, and then it just ends up at a private property saying no entry. And it looked like there was a few other areas you could drive into that could be classed as campgrounds as well. So take your pick. But they're the three that I filmed. And the good thing out here, look, they're free and there is mobile reception here. And there is a lake. Just remember, it would get very gusty here. I'll probably camp behind one of the sheds just to get a bit of protection from the wind. Just passed through a Murray Bridge, come out to a campground which is about 27 or 28 minutes out of Murray Bridge, called Haythorpe Reserve. It does say that camping permits are required here, but that's not correct. Camping permits are required at Bolto, which is the next one along. Let's just have a quick drive through Haythorpe. It's right on the river. There are no toilets here. There is mobile reception here, being reasonably close to Murray Bridge. And it's reasonably flat and quite large. Probably get 20 or 30 maybe vehicles in here. It's suitable for all vehicles. It's all dirt. There are rubbish bins everywhere. There's a small boat ramp here to my left. We might hop out and have a quick look at that before checking out the next one. What I thought was a boat ramp is not really a boat ramp. I don't know if you could launch a boat here. Not being a boating person, certainly launch a kayak or canoe here. But there are several points along here that you probably could get good access to the river. And the river looks beautiful. Beautiful day here. It's about 28 degrees, nice and warm, and blue skies. I was just talking to another guy on the campsite. He said the next one up the road, called Bolto, is one where you need the permit, but you don't need a permit. He's been here a month or so, but has been asked to move by the local council authorities. So they do come around and check. And the river looks inviting as usual. But this is a nice place to pull up for a night or two. There's another area just over here where also you can get access to the river and a swing rope. The next campsite along the river outside of Murray Bridge is only about another couple of minutes up the road. This one's called Bolto Reserve. Okay, it says a permit is required here. Some of these campsites have like ticket machines. You can buy permits on the site. Some you have to ring the local council. I'm not sure about this one yet. I think I see a ticket machine over there. This one also is similar to Haythorpe. It is flat. It's right on the river, reasonably large, big enough for 20-30 vehicles, suitable for all types of vehicles. There is a toilet at this one, plenty of rubbish bins, and mobile reception's okay here. I think I did see a boat ramp over there next to the river. It will now be on my left, a bit further along here. We'll check that out. Very shady in places, some nice big trees. And yes, that is a ticket machine here. So let's check out what that's all about. This is down the other end of the reserve, campground. There's another small little beach area here, which would be ideal for launching yourself into the water, either without or with a kayak or canoe. The water looks very inviting. Definitely swimming weather today. Yes, quite a nice campground. Just having a quick look around the site. The boat ramp is right there. So the access to the river is good in a few places. Checked out the ticket machine. It is $10 per vehicle per night. I've paid for 2 nights here at this point. Though the other one down the road, about 4 or 5 minutes from here, is free, it does not have any toilet facilities. The ticket machine is over here, where the toilets are. There's fresh running water here. Some nice shady spots to camp under here. Got a nice feel about it. You're camping on dirt. The grass is always nice, but it's got a nice feel about it. Again, it's at the end of a sort of road into a small residential area, so you wouldn't get a lot of traffic noise in here. But what I do like, there are several entry points to the river besides the boat ramp. One being right here. There's another one a bit further up, about 100 metres, and the bank's got all the sand on it, which is always lovely. Little alcove here. There's a residential area over across the road. There is a ferry that goes across to the other side of the river. Might check that out later.
West, then take the ferry. Ferry to Manum.
If you do come to Bolto Reserve campground, do make sure you come across the ferry, which is only 100 or so metres up the road from the campground. Ferry is free and it will bring you into Manum. It's a beautiful little town on the river. There are toilets here. Bit of history here on Manum, sorry. My campsite actually is straight across the river. Virtually you can see it from here. When I first travelled up to Murray a couple of weeks ago, I was curious to how high the water levels would rise here during flood times. Well, my curiosity's been resolved. Here we have a flood level, well, sort of history in time, going back to goes back to the lowest flood level of 1.7 metres, which means your feet will be underwater. Then it's just tracked certain flood levels over time. It's not in data order, it's in flood or water height level. And believe it or not, in 1870, the water came up to just over 4 metres, believe it or not. Wow. That would mean that the houses across the road there, the only thing you'd see would be their roofs. Hard to imagine. A nice bit of history about the Murray. The reason I'm at Bolto Reserve Murray Bridge at the moment is because originally my Murray River run was going to be working up through Victoria, up to Majura, into South Australia, then down into towards Adelaide. But that was cut short by the bushfire hazards in Victoria. 2 days in Mildura, they recorded 48 degrees. I left before that on good advice and headed down towards Horsham, where I recorded 49 degrees on the car dash. I was talking to one of the rangers at the lake. This is Lake Taylor in Horsham, and he said if the weather forecast is about 45, 46 in Horsham, you can guarantee it'll be 49, 50 out of the lake. So the 49 might have been fairly accurate. So that was bloody hot. Then it was down the south coast, if you've been watching the videos, the south coast of South Australia, and now back up into Murray Bridge here at Bolto Reserve. Just quickly on Bolto Reserve, great campground on the river, only $10 a night. There were some issues here, the toilets weren't working, and there is a long-term resident here who has 4 very aggressive dogs, and he is camped right alongside the amenities block. So anytime any camper went to the toilets or the amenities, his dogs went berserk. So that sort of ruined it a little bit, but doesn't take it away from the campground itself. It's a great little campground. Just be aware, in February 2026, there is a permanent there with aggressive dogs.